What's going on, YouTube, fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of Hood Tales, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you're feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel and content with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. With that being said, let's get right into the story. As parents, we try hard to protect our kids. Get them the game about life the best way we know how, from our own experiences and things we learned while navigating out here. But as they start to get older, it comes a time they will start forming their own opinions about the world and choose how they want to navigate, live, and the people they want around them. As a teen boy or girl, having friends and a social life is everything. Young, full of life and energy, you want to hang out, hit the mall, movies, and be in the company of people your own age, who you feel see the world just like you. Some parents understand and even invite that. They meet the kids their child calls friends, even build a relationship with them and their families. Others trust they have instilled enough in their child that they will be able to use discernment when dealing with and building relationships with people. And some of us, if you grew up like me, have heard this 100 times from your parents or other people in your life. I don't like that person you call your friend. You better watch them. Something about them just not right. But at that age, you are definitely not trying to hear all that. Your social circle sometimes mean more to you than your own family. Besides, other than a little harmless fun or trouble, what more can happen being a teenager hanging out with friends, right? And on this episode of Hood Tales, we'll be taking it to Houston, Texas, to discuss the case of a teen who went to stay the night at a friend's house but never made it back home. Back in 2021, 17-year-old Corey Thompson was a young man navigating life in Texas. Described as fun-loving, responsible, funny, and full of life, Corey excelled and had big dreams for the future. He played basketball and football. He attended Cy-Fair Senior High School in Cypress, Texas, with dreams of one day attending a HBCU college to receive his degree in engineering. Very responsible for his age, he maintained a job as well at Urban Air, Trampoline, and Adventure Park, and even donated clothes and other items to people in need and the less fortunate. But when not spending time with his family, just like most 17-year-old teens, Corey wanted to spend time with his friends. One of his homeboys was at the time an 18-year-old boy named James Sotelo. The two teens met at school, according to sources. But soon after that, James dropped out and started going down the wrong path, playing with guns, even catching adult charges. By this time, he was already on probation for assault. But James was his homie, so Corey didn't judge him and still hung out with the young man on a regular. On March 19th, 2021, Corey told his mother he would be going to James' house to stay the night, play video games, and just be teen boys. She told him okay, have fun, and he left out. Around 3 a.m. the next morning on March 20th, police received a call from neighbors in James' neighborhood who reported hearing multiple gunshots coming from the house. They responded to the home where they found Corey suffering from 11 gunshot wounds, mostly all in the back, and also James' little brother with a gunshot wound to the face, laying in bed. James calmly told police that Corey tried to assault him before they went to bed, so he shot the young man. James was taken into custody pending investigation of his claims. Unfortunately, Corey wouldn't survive his injuries. James' little brother was shot while asleep in his own room, hit with a bullet that came through the wall. He was now in critical condition. At the police station, James claimed Corey tried to attack him before they went to sleep when he stayed the night over his house. But detectives soon realized from evidence and all the bullets in Corey's back, in which he was shot 11 times, either he was asleep when it happened or had his back turned, fleeing the room. They also asked James what was the altercation about, And why did he shoot so many times? In which the young man couldn't answer the question. With that, he was taken into custody, charged with first-degree hit and also deadly conduct for shooting his brother. Fortunately, the young man will pull through and survive his injuries. Corey's family was devastated and felt James was a cold killer, and he showed no remorse, and that he shot Corey for nothing but just a thrill, as the young man thought he was his friend. James was held on a $100,000 bond, and crazy enough, the judge lowered the bail so he could bail out, even though the young man also was already on probation for a previous charge. While out on bail, James even caught a gun charge, in which the same judge released him on bail again. This will leave Corey's family super frustrated. As the case made its way to trial, James showed no emotion. As Corey's family sat in the courtroom, he offered no explanation. As the prosecutor explained, Corey, who thought he was staying the night at a friend's house, would never make it home, and James ambushed the young man while he slept. The jury never bought into the self-defense claim, and James was found guilty on all counts. But in another twist, even though facing life without parole, he was sentenced by the same judge who lowered his bail, let him out after being caught with a gun, and instead of life in prison, he was sentenced to 40 years, eligible for parole in just 20. Corey's family felt like it was definitely certain elements of the case that went in James' favor, even with the judge. As his family spoke out, they were frustrated. They stated he was a bright young man with so much life and potential, and it was cut short by a so-called friend and someone who he trusted. But they were happy, even if it wasn't life, at least James would pay somewhat for what he did. James was 20 years old when he was sentenced. At the age of 40 years old, he will be eligible for parole. Rest in peace to Corey. I send my prayers and condolences to his family. I couldn't imagine sending my child to a friend's house and getting a call they were shot 11 times. Then you let them out on bail. I try to grow and get better every day, but I don't know how I would have reacted knowing the person who shot my son was out walking freely while I was planning the funeral. But I'm gonna leave this one open for discussion. I wanna know y'all thoughts on this situation. And how do you yourself, if you have kids, deal with them having friends, wanting to stay the night at people's houses? Are you a laid back parent who lets them live their life? Or are you a little bit more strict and observant and tell them watch who they choose to call friend? Let me know in the comments. And remember, we gotta succeed, not to fail, so we won't be just another hood tale. Yeah, man, it's a messed up situation. I wanted to do this story because surprisingly enough, usually something like this will be all over the place, but I ain't see too many outlets that put this out. But definitely rest in peace that young man. I definitely send my prayers and condolences to his family. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. It's another episode of Hood Tales. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.